All right, everybody, welcome to episode 3 of a podcast that you've probably not heard of. I'm here with DMS3TV, who's possibly someone else you haven't heard of, but this is actually his podcast, well, we co-host. And up until now, they've been released on his channel, but today, well, at least this one, because we're talking about CanJam New York, we're going to release them on the big channel, aka my channel. So, there should be slides happening right now.
Yes, I will pull some of those up. And yeah, we normally do post it on my channel, but I figure, you know, we could occasionally switch them up and do them on here. It'd be fun. And I didn't get a whole lot of footage myself at CanJam, so I'll probably just tell everybody that watches my stuff to come check out this video.
I love how you made your girlfriend carry like a 30-pound camera rig.
And she did it willingly.
I didn't get much footage. It's fine.
We mostly got footage of New York because that was kind of, but you know, it was all right. It was fun.
It was fun.
The point of CanJam isn't necessarily to get tons of footage. It's to hear all the things and then talk about them when I get back. So here we go. First and foremost, this is something that I know a lot of people are going to be asking about from both of our audiences, and it is the Sennheiser HD-820.
That was actually the very first headphone I put on at the show. We walked down the hallway, and then we walked out of the hallway, and there was a Sennheiser thing. There was nobody there, so it's like, all right, let's just get a listen, because I know the line's going to be insane.
Yeah, it was insane when I was there.
And I picked them up, and they're very pretty, and the back is a curved glass, not a straight, flat piece of glass. It's actually
Gorilla Glass
curved.
at that.
And it's well, they better be, because if you drop it, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we listened to it, and they were having such problems trying to get both amps to play at the same time, and I ended up sitting there for like 7 or 8 minutes before I could actually hear anything on it. And it was one of those. There's only 2 ways to listen to music at CanJam, and that's with your own portable device, which everyone should really bring a portable headphone amp and player that they could hear, or you are forced to listen to whatever the booth has set up, and you're listening to that.
Yeah, I tried that. Sennheiser wouldn't let me use my own DAP with it.
I couldn't, because it was using a 4.4 millimeter. They had it hooked up with 4.4 Pentacon, and I'm like, I don't have the adapter for that.
Yeah, and they said they can't change the cables on the HD-820. I was like, why? And they're like, they're not interchangeable. So I'm guessing they had prototypes there or something.
That makes no sense. But whatever the point is, so I got to listen to them with someone else's music, which is very hard to judge anything. I'm like, have you heard this song? It's me flushing my toilet over and over again. Doesn't it sound really dynamic? And it's like, I guess. So from my probably minute and a half, 2 minutes of listening to those, I thought they had good isolation. I thought they had excellent soundstage. I felt like the upper mids to the highs were just a little bit. It was like what I didn't like. It sounded like the open back HD-800s. It sounded like it was like, oh, we're all highs and all detail. And I'm sure the low end was there, but the song I could not. It was hard to judge.
And the mid range kind of dips out.
Yeah, it's kind of like judging, like, hey, drive this Ferrari, but you can only drive it in the parking lot of the dealership.
Right.
You know, you can go 30 feet forward and then go back up, and that's it.
I did get to hear it side by side with the 800 and the 800S, which I'm not really a big fan of the 800 and 800S. It was funny because the guy said, do you know the full history of the HD-800? I said, no, I don't know the full history. He said, well, it's an open back headphone, and an open back headphone means, I was like, okay, I know all this stuff. But he was saying essentially like, oh, well, since we created the most neutral headphone in the world, the HD-800, and I was like, it's not neutral. It's super not neutral. He said, based off that breakthrough, we created the most neutral closed headphone in the world. I'm like, okay, well, this is definitely not going to be neutral either, but it sounded just like the 800S.
Suck my own dick a little harder. I mean, that's no.
Like, it's definitely not neutral, but it did sound almost identical to the 800S in my opinion.
The 800s didn't make any sense why anyone was using them. Everyone runs Super DuPont mod, and they can make 800Ss with the 800s. Yeah, 800Ss I respect as a headphone. It's still not my full cup of tea, but at least they weren't like painful to listen to. So as long as these aren't painful to listen to, I'm sure they're going to have a place to sell them.
Yeah, I mean, if you like the 800S, you're going to like these. It's basically what it boils down to. If you need closed back 800Ss, then you've got the HD-820 for a lot more money.
Yeah, no, that's another thing. It's like, wow, you're not doing any. Are they new drivers? Do we even know if they're new drivers?
It is technically a new driver. But it's pretty much, they designed this driver to work in a closed space and sound just like the 800S driver. It's basically the same magnet structure and all that. They just tweaked like a few things apparently with like the dome structure or something like that, or the material. I don't know exactly, but it's just minor changes.
What they're charging, period. It's beautiful. And some people, I think they got the pads right finally.
Yeah, I mean, what they're charging for is R&D.
Yeah, they have to charge for R&D, but they're also Sennheiser. So the R&D probably took them 5 months of 6 people, and it's not like there's. If you're a company if you're Mod House Audio, you should be charging for R&D because you're one guy spending hours and hours and hours and then trying to sell a product.
Right, this is going to be a repeat subject every time. Mod House, you need to charge more for your headphones.
Yes.
We're going to tell him that later when he comes on here.
Someone actually put in an order for the Mod House Argon Mark IIIs, told me about it this morning, and said there's a 4-week lead time on that before he'll even be getting shipped.
Wow.
So by the time I'm done with my review, there's going to be a 4-year lead time. We'll be fucking Argon Mark 4s and 5s.
But he's turning like $20 profit on each pair.
He needs to stop doing that. I'll charge more and then gift it to him. Right. Whatever it comes down to. All right, next. Sennheisers, we accept it.
All right. So next on the list, these were interesting. You know what? Let's go. You want to go straight to our boys over here at Cleer?
Me. So all right, here's what happened. I didn't hear the little baby Cleers. Okay. I heard the big Cleers.
Well, I'll put both of them here, but first I'm going to say these little ones, I did hear them. The headband is identical to a cheap Bluetooth set of Chinese headphones I got off AliExpress. They weren't built great, but they did sound, they sounded decent for what they were. I don't think I'd own a pair, but I mean, you know, cheap headphones that sound okay, yeah.
What's the cost on those? Do you know what the cost on the small ones are?
I'll look it up here. If you want to talk about the big Cleers for a second, I'll pull up a price on the small ones.
All right, the big Cleers, I heard them last year, and they're still not even like sold. They're like still post-production, but they're working on tweaks, and they haven't decided on pads. I believe they had a bunch of pads set up, and the magnetized pads, that everything comes off, and this one was bigger, this one's smaller. Actually, that was the Mezes also. But the Cleers, they've been like, we're done with the sound. Now we're just working on some tweaks. They're using the Sennheiser connector off the HD800s, which I hate because as a person who wants to make their own cables or buy cables, that means you're automatically in like crazy town for that pricing. I remember them. Well, they were clear. That's the point of the whole thing. Their build was different.
Oh, okay. Well, those aren't actually that cheap.
The little ones?
The little ones are $279, but apparently the final production model is going to be made with a metal headband instead, which would be a big improvement.
I mean, honestly, if you're designing headphones, you get the cup, and you get the driver, and you get the pads, and the fucking headband is just whatever you could buy from China to test with.
Yeah, so, I mean, an improved headband would make a big difference. They did sound good. They were active noise canceling and wireless, so that's something. If it's a wireless headphone that is active noise canceling and it was built better than that one, then yeah, I would say those sounded like probably the equivalent to like the QC35 or something. So that's
active
not bad.
Noise canceling. I've found a trend that you cannot get quality active noise canceling in under a $200 to $250 set of headphones. Just
yeah,
can't.
I'd say sound quality wise, they sounded like QC35s, but the active noise canceling definitely wasn't as good. Now, as far as the big Cleers, though, those sounded pretty decent. They aren't as open sounding as the original Cleers. Because I took my hands and put my hands over the cups. Like, you know, you do that with like an open back headphone. You see how much it'll make it sound closed in. No difference. I could press my hands as hard as I could against the sides. No difference in sound at all whatsoever. So they're
I've had a couple headphones where that happens.
Yeah.
Where it's like, why are these even open back then? Because I'm completely covering it, nothing happens.
Apparently, it has to do with low frequency resonance on these, because I was talking to him about that. It allows the driver to breathe easier. I mean, they sounded good, though. For what they're going to be at, I think he once said it was like $599 or $699 or something like that. I mean, they sounded pretty dang good. I'd like to hear the final production model, and I'd like to wear them once they actually have the proper headband back on these too, because that thick leather cushy stuff they're going to put back on there because it was a manufacturing error.
Do you know
the
if
only thing standing between them and
support,
launch is Chinese New Year?
Do you know if the smaller ones support aptX HD?
I do not know.
Yeah, we are. I'm actually, everyone who's listening to this podcast, I'm actually live streaming, which I do Wednesdays and Sundays if I can. And so everyone on the live stream is currently listening and while watching us go through this.
So, yeah, so if you have comments, then it's those people on the stream, on the Twitch.
It's interesting to have a podcast with it while a Twitch stream is going on and answer questions, then publish it later. Hopefully getting these on Spotify also at some point. If you'd like to throw in the comments of this video any suggestions for a name of this?
Yeah, because we can't start publishing on Google Play, Spotify, any of that stuff until we have a name for the podcast. And we're trying to think of one, but it's taking us a while. Like I said, the regular one's usually posted on my channel. Sometimes we'll post it over here, but eventually it'll be posted on streaming platforms.
And it does not have to be like Audio Dudes or These podcast. I mean, actually, These podcasts would be great.
Right, because here's the thing is we don't always talk about audio.
We don't always talk about audio, and it's not like my podcast that I own. Me and DMS are starting out as just sharing it. We have guests, and who knows what we'll talk about. We just need a podcast, a generic podcast name.
How
a generic podcast name?
Next week's is going to be very good, so make sure you guys tune in for that one. That one's going to have the owner of Modhouse Audio and the owner of ZMF both talking about some very interesting subjects. Here, moving on, though, we have this. I don't know if you heard this one, the Klipsch HP-3.
I did. I heard all of them. And I heard when we got there, we had a little group of people that were organizing from Telegram who was going to be there. And I heard a couple of them say, oh, yeah, no, the Klipsch, nah, fuck those. Those are no good. And I heard them, and I'm like, these are not terrible. Why is everyone bashing these?
See, here's the thing. I kind of liked them. They're very V-shaped, but they're also very detailed.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with like the snowflake effect of headphones where, you know, I don't want it to sound like every other headphone. And these definitely had their own big woodiness to them.
Oh,
they were running them on two different types of tubes, one solid state. I actually heard them. I think I heard that pair that we're showing a picture of on the little, what the hell, whatever that.
Yeah, the little, what is that? Is that the Huawei or something?
No, that's the Wah 2. I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that. A little portable Woo amp.
Yeah, the portable one. What really impressed me, though, on those was the presentation. Did you see the boxes on the wall behind it? I don't know if you...
Yeah, those were really pretty with the glass cases. Here's the thing. Yeah. Klipsch makes decent stuff. They haven't really stepped big into crazy hi-fi headphones for a while. And now they're kind of coming back into it. It's interesting because it seems like when a lot of speaker companies come into making hi-fi really high-end, like Summit Fi headphones, they make something at first that is just like crazy mids and like no highs and stuff like that. And these guys went the exact opposite. We're going to make a V-shaped detail monster.
They made a cheap set, didn't they? Like a plastic set for like $200 or $250. That was like, those things are $1,100. Those are not cheap those are not like, oh, Klipsch made a headphone. It's $300. These are above $1,000 headphones.
Yeah, I want to say they're really, really expensive. I'd have to find them.
They're more expensive than you would imagine. Like Klipsch coming out and saying, "Hey, we have headphones." You think they'd start in the $400-500 range? No, they went for like, we're gonna go after Sony Z7s and things like that.
$1,199 each.
Yeah, $1,200. So yeah, they're not cheap.
Let's see, they're biocellulose dynamic too. So the same kind of thing that you're gonna find in your TH900s and in the ZMF, Eikon, Atticus, stuff like that, and the O-Tour.
Yeah, they're going for it. They are literally going for it. And I thought they were beautiful. I thought they were comfortable. And I thought they sounded good enough to be nearly worth that cost. I just want to spend endless amounts of time with them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are headphones that Klipsch used to have that are pretty amazing. Like their reference R6 on-ears are like $79. Those are actually phenomenal for the price. Like I used to daily drive those years ago when I had my 650s at home. Whenever I'd leave the house, I'd use those little Klipsch on-ears.
Interesting.
Speaking of relatively small headphones, we have these, the Campfire headphones. What are these called? They're the Cascades, I believe. Yeah,
Cascades. They had like 6 of those set up, but I was able to run those on my little portable. Although
they were tight fitting.
I was running out of juice on the Q5. The FIO Q5 is what I brought, the little Bluetooth player, because it's freaking amazing to not have to have wires going anywhere or store music. But they said the design goal of these was to get the exact same sound signature as their IEMs.
Of the Vega IEM specifically, because they're different tuning than the Andromeda, but they're definitely like Vega. They were the cushions were tight on my ear, like it was almost on ear, but not quite. But it got comfortable after a little while. They were built like tanks.
Yeah, no, they were heavy. They needed those metal goddamn hangers to hold them on because they were like a heavy monstrosity, and they had enough. And they were very bassy when you got into it. When you pushed them hard enough, they threw the low end like an IEM would throw good low end.
Oh yeah,
so I respect them how they got them to sound.
It was like a giant IEM kind of on your head. It sounded like that same kind of sound.
Yeah, I don't know how you designed for that, but they did it. They made it happen.
And that's also that's a 42 millimeter dynamic. I mean, and they're relatively easy to drive. I liked them. I don't know 100% if the tuning is something that I personally would enjoy, but I did like them quite a bit as far as like a portable, well-built headphone goes.
I mean, I think every company, I don't trust a company that only does IEMs. I think throwing your hat into the headphone ring is a brave move. Because there are so many different things. Like you can make IEMs and everyone's, but if you headphones, there's a lot to compare to.
Speaking of things to compare to, these, very interesting. These were
That's my line.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, these.
The MySpheres.
So those are basically the AKG K1000s. The next revision of them, even though they're not by AKG. And they're fully detachable, fully disassemblable, portable on-ear speakers.
Yeah, they come apart in a million pieces.
They're basically on-ear speakers. They're not ear speakers, although they are ear speakers. Yeah, I mean, the pictures shows them just disassembled. And it's amazing how they just get held with magnets. And the only thing I had a problem with was they had to be... I put them on and put them further away, and then I forget who it was. I think it was Jack Wu himself literally came over and like pushed them closer to my ears. Like, no, you gotta listen to them like this. And I'm like, oh, really? Because it was like, there's no point in having a headphone that floats like that if it's not going to float a half inch, 3/4 inch away from your ear to give you like the sense of a room. And these weren't designed to float that far away. Mm-hmm. They were designed to basically touch your ear, and at that point, you could have done it with a normal headphone, so why bother?
Yeah, the way they sit on your head is very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, the guy said, "Hey, have you ever worn a tiara before? You wear it like a tiara." And we went, "No."
Yeah, here you go. I'm going to send you. There's some pictures of people wearing them.
There you go.
So yeah, I'll put those in the podcast also. But
you wear them like a tiara, and it's unfortunate. They look like they're right from the future. They actually look like they're from the past to the future. Logan's Run, people would have had those goddamn things on. I thought they were vintage. I didn't think they were new at all.
Here's the thing, though. The sound it sounded like speakers. Speakers with very little bass.
It did. There's no bass.
If you try to give them bass, it just pop. You hear the driver bottom out.
I wish I could have used them further away. I feel like they're just too close. At that point, there's no point. They could just been any old headphones.
Yeah,
I mean, just put
they're going for a very tight audience. I'll put it that way. You'd have to listen to these in like a treated room or something. Honestly,
the only thing that those do differently than a headphone is your lack of pad. It's just lacking of a pad. So you don't get a seal. You don't have to deal with, am I using velour? Am I using like a memory foam? Because there's just no pad. It's just holding it against your ear. It's almost like, I want to compare it to, of course, Porta Pros, which just hold the driver against your ear with foam.
Very expensive.
No bass in those. They're $40. I launched the review yesterday.
Yeah.
Love my Porta Pros. Love the KSE 75s more. Moving on.
I actually, I think didn't you also review the Pro 4AA?
That review, I released that review. I skipped the patrons because I didn't think that anyone there was going to be really interested in the 4AA. Like usually the benefit of the Patreon or my Patreon is you get to see things early. And if you want something and it's going to sell out, you get a chance to get a 2 weeks crack at it. But with like the KSE 75s, I'm pretty sure there's 40 trillion of those sitting in boxes in Amazon's warehouse. So I may as well just let it out. And I wanted people to see me smash the 4AAs on the table a bunch of times before I send them back to Serial.
Fair enough. Yeah, the 4AAs, interesting thing about those is I told you I used to have some of the old school vintage COS E-stats that were closed back. That's in the exact same enclosure and uses the exact same pads, those abysmal liquid-filled pads.
You say liquid-filled? I didn't know that. I push them. It feels like air. There's no benefit to it. Could have been filled with God and it would have not made them any better to wear.
Yeah, no, they're terrible. I took the pads off of my E-stats and put on alpha pads. It sucks because eventually my E-stats just fried because they were ancient. But yeah, no, alpha pads help, but the headband in those things, it's just terrible.
Bad.
It's the worst.
They're the worst pair of headphones I've ever reviewed, and I've said that on the review. They're the worst pair of worst feeling, worst sounding.
I know one pair that's worse.
Do you?
The Bowers and Wilkins P9. I told you about them.
I didn't see them there though, so I can't believe you.
I'll
That's
send them
almost
to you.
Impossible.
No, I'll send them to you. I have a set of those costs, and the Bowers and Wilkins are worse in comfort and sound.
Understand. I don't see that. The Neurophone was not there. Someone asked if the Neurophone was there, and it was not at CanJam.
Well, here is something else. I don't know if you heard this or not, but you have a picture of it.
Not only did I hear that, I loved it. I mean, it's expensive. Let's put it this way. As someone who's been sent the FIO X7, which I have, and I have to get the review done.
For reference in the podcast, this is a Sony DAP.
Yeah, this is a Sony digital audio player that feels great in the hand, doesn't run Android, 20-something hour battery life, non-reflective matte screen.
And it feels really durable.
All the Sony... I mean, I don't understand this trend. Did you pick up all of the like pure copper machined block DAPs that were floating around?
I didn't.
It was literally
that's one of the only DAPs
them.
I checked out, but that's literally because someone handed it to me and was like,
"Yeah,
here."
Look, no spoilers, but the X7 is like $700 for an Android device that doesn't add any battery life. All what's wrong with the X5 at this point? Why not get the X7 is slightly faster, but there's no battery life improvement. There's no navigation improvement. Yeah, I can run apps in it, but that's what my phone is for, and everyone's going to have a phone. So if I'm going to go dedicated portable music player, get me the fuck off Android, give me good ergonomics, give me physical buttons, and the fact that the screen, I actually took a picture, I don't know if I have it, I could go look for it, of the smaller Sony player and that next to each other. And the small Sony player has a glossy, screen, and it was just covered in child fingerprints from 2 days use at CanJam. And this is totally clean.
I'm gonna put some hand sanitizer on my hands just thinking about that. I walked around with hand sanitizer the entire time because it was just.
I just kept licking my fingers because I want to be immune to everything.
Oh, perfect. On the subject of portable players, we have this thing which you and I both went home with units of. The Bluewave Get.
Which I don't know where the hell mine is, so I have to find it because it's so fucking small. That's part of the review. The review is writing itself. I came home with this and I unpacked my bags. Holy fuck! I hope I didn't throw it in the washing machine.
I hope you didn't either. I actually took mine, and what I've been doing is I've been using a 2-inch 3.5 millimeter cable, and I clipped it onto the argons. I've been walking around the house with argons and this thing on.
That's what I look. This thing is more, what is it, $130? $100 of the show, $130?
It's brilliant. It can't get loud with Argon, but I use it with everything right now. It's brilliant.
Look, I'm right in front of me. I'm holding it on stream. Is the MPOW, which is $30. And I'd say it's not Bluetooth 5. Like that thing is Bluetooth 5 with aptX HD. And I'm pretty sure this isn't aptX HD. It might be. It's at least aptX. I have no qualms about the sound quality coming out of the MPOW adapters for $30. However, that is metal with a clip, and the ergonomics are broken. Have you used it like in your hands where you try to change the volume and you keep it in the button?
I have. Well, I haven't hit the button on accident because it's been clipped on my headphones, but I haven't charged this thing yet.
Oh, no,
I used it the entire drive home.
He says it's like 10 hours? No,
here's the thing. I used it for about 11 hours driving home. Not at full volume, but I used it like half volume. I used it 11 hours driving home. I used it most of the day yesterday with the argons, and I've used it all day today with IEMs. Hasn't died yet. I'd say it's running on 20 hours now.
Yeah, I mean, I was wandering around CanJam with a giant Q5 here behind me with the FIO Q5 Bluetooth. I mean, it'll run as an amp DAC with the wire, but the whole point of this unit that I'm holding is that it's Bluetooth. And then I hit the power button and I hit the Bluetooth button and my phone connects to it instantaneously, and I have balanced output and high-low gain and bass boost and line out. And I was able to leave my phone in my pocket, take this out, plug everything into it, hit next track, hit last track, pause, and never have to, it's not a source, it's just a player. This is too big though. I mean, if you're crazy like I am, you need it. The little thing is great.
I don't know how they fit it's not like crazy powerful, but I don't know how they fit the amount of power and battery life they did into this little thing. And I mean, obviously we're both going to put reviews out on it probably at some point. I assume that you are. I'm definitely going to, so I don't want to give away everything about it. But long story short, this thing's pretty badass, and I'm going to be carrying it with me to future events, 100% for sure. Yeah,
I mean, I'd probably, because I usually on these live streams that I do, I have the one of the MPOWs clipped onto my headphones, and I could wander around the house and still hear what Cheese has to say. And I'm going to swap it out to the Bluewave for a couple of streams coming up, just to see if there's a difference, just to see how well it does with distance, because the two little cheap MPOWs, they can go 40 feet, no problem, through walls and talk to each other.
This actually, I had it connected to my phone, and I left my phone in the house while I was playing music and started to drive away, and I got almost to the end of my street before it cut out. That's not super far, but that's probably like, 150 feet, roughly.
That's pretty good. That's super far. I don't care what the hell you're saying.
But here's the interesting thing. I was in a phone call, and the microphone quality is like way better than my phone, and I could still hear the other person.
See, I haven't used it for a phone call. As soon as I find it, if I didn't throw it in the washing machine.
I hope you didn't. If you did, then that'll be a test to see if it can survive being in the washing machine.
I highly doubt it can.
Yeah, I will say downside, my power button got stuck on mine, and I had to like fiddle with it a little bit with a screwdriver to get that fixed.
Yeah, I mean, they were throwing those things out like candy. So hopefully I find mine, and if I can't, I've got his email. I'll just be like, look, I lost it because it's so small. So, which is actually a benefit for the review. For
the sake of keeping things rolling, I'm going to send you a picture of this. This is the SR009, but we heard the SR009 and the MrSpeakers E-Stat side by side on the Blue Hawaii.
Correct.
And it'd be interesting to talk about those two. I don't see a picture of the MrSpeakers E-Stat, but it's worth talking about.
Yeah, the MrSpeakers E-Stat. I went into it, and I don't like hearing people's thoughts on something before I look at it or hear it. But everyone's like, oh, the MrSpeakers, that thing sucks. No one likes that.
Everyone thought it sucked?
I've heard the people in my chat, and you people know who you are, just kept going on and on about how, no, it's not good. It's just not good. It's not good. It's not worth $3,000. It's not good. And I heard it, and I didn't hate any part of it. Like, it wasn't bright. It wasn't too sibilant. There wasn't a lack of bass. It had it was built well. The 009s, I've never been engaged with the 009s. I always thought the 009s, and in fact, the 007s sounded too much like headphones. Like when you get the square box Stax, you just know you're wearing electrostatics. You just know it immediately from the first time you put them on.
I need to try some of those. I've tried all the round Stax. I haven't tried the square box Stax yet.
There were literally 007s in the. Were they in the room? I forget where they were, but they were round.
700s. I'm probably eventually, when I'm not poor, I'm going to get some 300s. Just
the 300s are a good start.
Yeah.
If you could actually find the 207s, the older style, almost a little better to start with, because you're a neutral person, so you're going to want neutrality like crazy. So you want the 300s.
Yeah.
500s are a waste because they're just 300s with better pads. But you want the 300s. The 207s I like because I was able to break the seal and get like
the SRS 207
sub-bass dance. The SR 207s, yeah. When I broke the seal and put the bigger pads in them, the bass kicked up to like 11, and 11 is exactly where I want my electrostatics to be. But the 007s, the 007s, 009s, I think they just present themselves like headphones, just slightly more detailed.
Yeah,
which is not enough. It's nothing crazy about them.
But Mr.
And I want to
Speakers,
spend crazy. Yeah,
I liked the MrSpeakers E-Stat quite a bit.
They still sounded like E-Stats. You knew you weren't wearing just an open pair of planar headphones.
Yeah, I mean, they were super clinical, don't get me wrong, but it was very enjoyable, very lifelike.
Yeah, no, it felt like something you could analyze music and listen to music. This is one that I was giving you shit about nonstop. I was like, you need to go hear this. This was the Meze Empyrean. And I did, and I talked with the guys. Actually, it's the silver one up there too. The picture of the silver one.
Yeah, I'll find
with the finish.
Yeah, there it is.
Because that's the finished result is the gold with the black, and then the silver one with. Because you look at it, and you go, oh, it's a black headphone. Then you look at the one that's unpainted, untreated. That's entirely 5-axis CNC machined aluminum on the back.
Yeah, and the headband is made of carbon fiber.
The headband is it's glass fiber. There was a metal one, a glass fiber, and a carbon fiber, all as they were testing. And that's why there was pads all over the table, because I hadn't decided on which pads to use. And the pads were all magnetized to come off. So it's like, it's literally still a work in progress. But from what I heard, I mean, are they worth $3,000? I think it's going to be, I think if you put them on the table next to HiFiMAN HE1000, I'd probably pick these up over those. But that's like the only thing we're arguing about.
Yeah.
There's really nothing else in the $3,000 planar that I would consider other than those two. And even then, the Edition X, I thought sounded pretty much 97% as good as HE1000s. So why bother buying those? Just buy Edition X.
One of the interesting things for these is the separation, though, because that new driver they put in there, that was a strange thing, but it did allow for some really intense separation.
Yeah, they were explaining it to me and me and my friend about how this part literally just acts. The bottom part. You have a picture of the thing?
Yeah, I put a picture of it in the Telegram. The very center of the bottom part is a tweeter. The ring around that is for mid-range, and then as you go farther up, it gets lower and lower in frequency.
Yes, they literally described it as the bottom part acts as a speaker, and the top part acts as a subwoofer.
Yeah, and as you it's just as you go out and up, it gets lower and lower.
So it's like having like when you go to the HiFiMAN H1000s or any other planar for that matter, it's just a radiator. It's just square. Everything does everything. But the fact that they're literally designating parts of the driver to be different frequencies and different, they're actually engineering it with just physics. So that part moves faster than that part, which moves faster than that. And this bigger part needs to move slower. So it was pretty amazing.
Well, there's a couple notes with that, too. These are much lighter than LCDs.
Oh my God.
Or hardly any other planar I've ever heard.
They hardly weigh any. They don't feel like planars at all. They weigh nothing.
Yeah, these are like HD800 light, which is absolutely phenomenal. And they're definitely on par with that level of comfort. But there was something else I was going to say, but I totally lost it. I don't know where it went. Rinaro. They said the people that make the driver specifically for this headphone, they said also makes planar drivers for another large company, but they wouldn't say which one, but they said it was like a Summit Phi company. Now, I don't think it's Audeze because Audeze makes their own drivers. So my first thought was HiFiMAN or something like that, but I have no idea.
Would you consider HiFiMAN Summit Phi? I don't know.
They make things in the Summit Phi price category.
Unless they made the drivers specifically for the crazy HiFiMAN, what's top of the line?
Shangri-La.
Unless they made it just for that headphone, and then they could say that.
It's hard to say, but they said they make planar drivers for another major planar-based company, and I don't think it was Audeze because Audeze claims to make everything themselves. So, yeah. But on another subject of people who make things themselves, I'm just finding ways to bridge these from one to one. ZMF stuff. There was of course, Eikon, Atticus, and the Otour, which I'm still finding pictures for all of them. But I don't know. You've probably heard all three of those by now, I'm guessing.
Negative.
What? Which ones have you heard?
I only sat there and listened to the Otours.
Okay, well, let's talk about the Otour then. You already know how I feel about them.
Yeah, you want to suck its dick. There they are. You want to suck their dick. Now, here's the thing. There were two pairs on display, and I asked for the balanced cable because I had the little portable with the balanced output, and why not? So he just gave me that in a random pair, and I listened to him, and I'm like, wow, these are worth every penny he's charging. I thought the fit and finish was a little rough. I still like the wooden cup. Like, I know he's making his own wooden cups, but I feel like it could be refined a little bit more.
Here's the thing. Everyone, I can't even begin to tell you. Just look in the comments of the review that I did on the Otour. Everyone gave me so much shit for liking these headphones and saying they're worth the price. And I'm just like, listen, this is the most flat neutral headphone I have ever heard in my life. This is like what studios should be using everywhere, period. Well,
here's the thing. He had two sets, right? I'm just going to two sets. So I had one, my friend had the other. Or someone else had the other. And we both listened at the same exact time. We took one off. I said, God, a little bassy. And then Zach came out and said, well, that has different pads. And I looked, and you could barely see that there were different pads. They had the same
he actually sent me all the pads for it. And I have to look very closely side by side because I keep my pads all in the same drawer, and I get them mixed up sometimes. And I'm like, wait, which one is the more bassy pad? And I have to like hold them up to a light and look at them from the side.
He's like, this part's slightly fatter. And I'm like, that's hardly a different pad. But he said, yeah, I tried on the warmer ones, and they were legitimately 15% warmer, and it actually ruined them a little bit for me.
Zach is a
I didn't like
genius.
him as much.
Like, it's insane. I don't understand how he did this.
Well, my only problem with that scenario is, though, if they didn't feel softer, they didn't feel stiffer, they weren't that much bigger, the hole didn't change. So what the hell is making it change?
Foam density.
And will wear and tear. Since it's that delicate a balance, will wear and tear on a normal pad cause that to change over time?
here's the thing. I've been using them for about 8 months, the Otour. And I haven't noticed a difference in sound, and I've measured them several times across the board because I was concerned about that too, because it is foam density that changes the sound. I'm 99% sure, because the ones that are warmer are more dense foam and it traps in more sound pressure. I haven't noticed any degradation so far, so if that is the case, it's probably something that's going to happen over years. But that said, either way, the pads are like $60.
Yeah,
so
no,
for a headphone that costs $1,800, a $60 pad isn't a big.
They're expensive. Upkeep. I was expecting, because I didn't know the price, because I don't look these things up. I was expecting $1,200 to $1,300. Yeah, $1,800 was a little bit of a sticker shock to me.
That was the pre-order price, was $1,300.
That's why I thought that. Okay, because I mean they're good and they're worth it. If you told me right now, I could go out and I could have Sennheiser 820s or those.
Oh, they're also
I want the Tours.
They're also $15.99 for the teak ones. I have the Blackwood. The Blackwood's $18.99.
Yeah. Now, does that change the sound? Because I know they said it was more money. It does.
The teak is a little bit warmer, I think. The Blackwood is like totally dead flat. And that one is a little more expensive. Now, here's another thing too. I just reviewed Eikon. I haven't posted it yet, but you should hear Eikon because.
Well, I told Zach I want all three at the same time. Yeah, I just want all three. Give me
if you ask me, Eikon takes a hot dump on HD820. So
just for closed.
If we're talking about for closed back headphones, even Z1R I don't think takes even any.
Well, the benefit of
change.
being Zach or the benefit from being Ryan from Mod House is you get to sit there alone and decide what something sounds like. Where Sennheiser, nobody picked what the Sennheiser sounded like and then just made them. That was 12, 13. I don't even know. I can't even imagine how many people had to approve of all the little changes. Where when you are a small brand like ZMF, you could just go, these don't sound right to me. I'm going to keep changing it. So now that's good and bad because then you're relying on Zach's taste to never change, and his hearing has to be good enough for everybody.
Here's the thing: if Zach's taste never changes, that's fine. I can get some. Shush. I can get some. My dog was making noise. I can get some crazy Otours or something like that, and I don't have to care if his hearing changes because I'll have the headphones he made when I know his hearing was great. So
just as long as his tastes don't change, and because unless you get people around you trust to listen to things, and they can tell you, this sounds a little bit too sharp, and start adjusting for that.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, though, you can tell there's an improvement. I mean, I love Eikon, and I love Atticus, but, Otour is a definite clear improvement over Eikon. But as far as closebacks go, there's not a closeback that can touch Eikon.
I love the headbands, too. I don't know where he got those headbands, put together.
If you like the Ether C, you're going to like Eikon a lot. Because I remember listening to Ether C there at the show and being like, this is a plain R Eikon.
I love my Ether C flows. Where are they? Hello? Actually, where the hell are they? As I look around the room nervously.
We heard the Ether C's there, the C flows there. Like I said, my opinion on them is literally that they're just a plain R Eikon, which is a good thing. They're very well built. They're nice. They're comfortable. They are lighter than the ZMF headphones, and they don't stick it as far out of your head, so you look a little bit less ridiculous in public. That's really all I have to say about them until I have a pair to really listen to in depth. But
all right, moving on. ZMF is going to a whole podcast we could shill his stuff for him.
Do we want to talk about those gold AKGs?
Post them.
Here you go. These things. They had a nice case.
They had the best case. They had the best noise canceling.
I don't know about the best case because I'm going to go back to the ZMF thing on that. I actually said in the video when I reviewed them that when I was carrying Eikon and Atticus, or Eikon and Otour back from RMAF, the hotel owner got scared when I stopped halfway because he thought I had guns with me. Because they're big, they're the giant, Pelican cases.
But yeah, the Pelican cases are Pelican cases. I'm okay with those. But that case was bespoke, all aluminum, with I made people close the case next to me. And I want to review those are the most expensive Bluetooth headphones I've ever seen. Yeah. Oh, and I'm sorry. No, erase that. I apologize. Those are not Bluetooth headphones. Those are active noise canceling, not Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. I don't think they're that comfortable.
I don't remember. Look, I'm trying to look at them and just remember what something felt like 3, 4, 5 days ago. It's hard. I remember them not being super uncomfortable. but those had that technology in it where that ring with the ridges was adjustable for like the room sound, and you hit a button. And if you've ever done an Audacity setup on your home theater surround sound, you know, it throws out those squeaks, squeaks.
Yeah, it goes. And
yeah,
it, like,
you literally hit a button on
canal.
those headphones, and it adjusts the acoustics of your ear, which I don't know how it's doing that, but it
didn't sound drastically different when
No.
I put them on and it did that, but it did make some sort of a difference that was hard to put my finger on.
I'd love to sit here and analyze those as an active noise canceling hi-fi headphone, because I think they were $800 or $900 or $1,000. I forget how much
They were a lot. They were a whole lot.
More than a few by a bunch dollars. Yeah. It was a lot. But they presented themselves wonderfully for that sort of price. And that's almost what I expected. And then when they're not Bluetooth, I mean, as much as I love Bluetooth, I think that would have made them seem cheaper, and I don't think anyone would have paid for it. So the fact that it's like some other weird thing where you have to power it with your own amp and your own DAC, but we will do this for you. So I'll keep an eye on those.
Another interesting thing. Did you hear the Susvara from HiFiMAN while you were there?
At least once I sat down. I think it was in the Woo room, had the Susvara.
Yeah, that's a picture of it right there next to a Woo amp.
That is where I heard them, yes. With those cables provided by Kimber Cable, not sponsoring Z Reviews or DMS3 TV. Because shit. But they're nicely built, but they're not. I don't like any cable company that claims sound improvement. You can make the most expensive cables in the world, and I'll be fine with it. As soon as you say you're going to hear things you've never heard before, fucking lying to me.
Yeah, no, you already know I'm working on cables, but I'm putting together another thing on that, like a little side website for that. And I put on there, I said, it doesn't make a difference in sound, but they are built nice. Yeah,
they're pretty. I mean, I got those, do I have them real close? I do. I have the Periapt sent me RCAs, like their starter RCAs, and I look at them and I go, oh, look at the connectors, the amphinols, they're color matched. They come out into the splitter that they use in their headphones, into the cable. And these are $60 to start. And they don't make a goddamn sound difference at all, but my God, they're pretty. And that's all it comes down to.
Yep.
I'm okay with people love their jewelry on their thing, as long as you don't tell me. If you're buying a $1,000 goddamn amplifier and you have a $2,000 tube preamp, I'm okay with you spending a little bit of money on RCAs just so they don't look cheap. Then again, the Amazon Basics RCAs look friggin' amazing.
Or if you're going to put it 2 feet from your router and need magnetic shielding.
Yeah, I mean, these don't have that either. But I mean, there's very few times where expensive cables are required. They're mostly there just to make you feel better or for longevity's sake. If you're doing a live sound, you need things to move and bend and get stepped on. You got to take care of that stuff. But most of the time, it's fine. It's just got to be fine. Yeah. Anyway, we're back onto this. Are we looking at the... Because I reviewed that amp. That was... the guy brought that here because he bought that amplifier, that massive fucking amplifier that he spent $2,000 on because he had HD800s and he didn't like the way they sounded, and that's what fixed it.
So you're familiar with the sound of the amp, so I'm guessing it'd be relatively easy for you to know what those headphones sound like on it then.
Yes. I actually... Did they have it balanced?
I think that is balanced.
You know what? I felt weird doing it because I was in the Woo room and that was a Woo amp, and I was listening to those headphones on my FIO Q5 with the adapter to balance. So definitely they take a tube really well. I remember thinking that they probably were the most improved set of HiFiMANs over the... Like, they don't sound like HE1000s. They're not that.
Yeah, I think they're a lot better than the 1000s, honestly. But the thing is they're $6,000.
Yeah, no, they're not. At no point did I listen to them and then immediately have an orgasm and fall on the floor with the shakes. So you're missing it. Unless, I mean, I had them in a giant tube amp, and they were good. And I think they were letting us play our own sources there. No, they weren't. I don't think they were. A lot of places just, how do you, because they don't trust what you're doing. I mean, I would have, if I set up any of these rooms, I would just have a 3.5mm sitting off the front.
Right.
Do as you please. But yeah, no,
just come in there, play whatever you want.
Good, but anything $6,000, just move on to the next goddamn thing. It's just, I don't even.
Other pretty expensive things. I see a picture in this, so I'm guessing you also heard the IEMs that were attached to this. This is for the Shure Electrostatic IEMs.
No.
Oh, you didn't?
I did not.
Okay,
I went to the Shure booth, and the ladies were there, and it was like, hey, and the 1540s were there, which I gave a terrible review, and I caught a lot of shit from that. But so I sat there, and I'm like, all right, I went there to listen to the 1540s again because it's been like a year and a half, 2 years, been a while. And I remember what I said about them. I said they're so neutral and boring, and I hate them because they're so neutral and boring. And I pick them up, and they're beautifully built, and they're comfortable, and they're carbon fiber. And I put them on my head, and for the first 2 minutes, I didn't hate them. And I'm playing my music, so I know. Well, and then the second 2 minutes, I started to remember. It started to hit me. And then the last 2 minutes, because I was there for a while, that amplifier doesn't look very good, by the way. There's like a seam. That's an expensive fucking amplifier, and it is built terribly for Shure. Not for Shure.
That
like
little one in the picture right there?
Yeah, the little one in the picture is not built well at all.
So here's the thing. That is for
it
a
looks
set.
like, it's for a set of.
It's for a set of KSE 1500, which that's an electrostatic amplifier for electrostatic IEMs.
Well, you know what? The woman there should have really tried to sell that on me because I would have tried that. Instead, I was playing
they
with 1540s
sound just
and hating
honestly
them.
like miniature IEMs of the MrSpeakers E-Stat. They were good.
I would love to. Now I would love to hear that. However, that looks like I'm getting ready to vape out of it.
Yeah, no.
Do we agree that I'm going to vape
you get
out of
it,
that?
bro. You vape.
It literally looked like a vape. It looked like a cheap $60 gas station vape.
Yeah.
There was a seam down the side. The chrome is cheesy. Nothing about that struck me as high quality, so I just ignored it. I asked the price. They said something exorbitant, and I ignored it.
Yeah, $3,000 for the IEMs and the amp together.
Yeah, no.
So
no.
But on the subject of IEMs, these, which you finally tried, the Campfire Andromeda.
Yay, the Campfire Andromeda is probably my favorite thing at CanJam.
They're pretty amazing.
DMS won't shut the fuck up about them.
No, I won't, because I want to hear so bad.
You gotta get the Andromedas, and I gotta sell my arm, and I gotta fuck these dogs so I can make money to get it. Whatever. Okay, I'll listen to them. And I didn't listen to anything else at Campfire's table except for the headphones and those. And I got to listen to those also balanced because I can demand things. And they put them in, and they were as ugly as they are, as square metal blocks as they are. They fit comfortably on my ears. And there was a couple tracks where I was like, shit, I'm going to start crying. It's that sort of level of like engagement of the music.
And those are $1,000.
$1,100. $1,000 of the show. They're $1,100. So, I mean, I can't. Do I want a set? I want a set for free. Do I want to pay $1,000, $1,100? I need to change careers to a point where I'm working in an office or something, and I have to have IEMs.
Right.
You give me $1,100. There's a lot of things I'd probably pick right before those. Two $500 headphones, a $700 headphone, and a $400 headphone. The audio flies that I love are only $500. You can probably get those on sale, and then something else. When you put that much money into one thing, and it would probably be that thing because they were really good.
Actually, what's funny is one of my friends was there at CanJam. He has Andromedas, and he was like, I need to find a headphone that makes a good companion to these. And he said he just couldn't find anything that pleased him enough at CanJam that would match up to what he felt like with the Andromeda.
You know, Andromedas are dumb.
They're dumb. They're pretty amazing.
Is there anything higher in their list, or the Andromedas as high as they go?
They have the Vega, but the Vega's kind of dark and warm. It's more the tuning of the Cascades. I didn't like them as much, but the detail is still there. So,
all right, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. These are the Audio-Technica, whatever their flagship is. I want to say it's like the 85,000s or something like that.
Yeah, I can't read the thing. I think it's 5,000. ADX5000s. And those were a pre-production model because they creaked like an old fucking cellar door. And it was really distracting. And
they were light as hell,
the light. I think the Sonomas are probably the only thing that's lighter than those, and maybe I'm lying.
They gave up the little wing flaps that are on all the other 80 headphones.
They gave up the wing flaps, but they also made them so that they tilt in the direction like of your ears.
Yeah, it's light enough that it doesn't matter.
It's so light, and the detachable cable. I'd like to point out something else. See that Audio-Technica, what looks like a vintage amp DAC that they're on?
Yeah,
that fucking thing is $5,000.
Jesus Christ. I
was like, how much for this? And I went to the back and looked at it, and it's got USB in it. and it's got some tube pre-stages. And I'm like, it's actually, that's my player right there. You could see I'm running off the player right there. That's just dumb. That thing should not cost that much. And I almost felt like leaving the table because of how expensive the amp was. Yeah, I didn't hear a major difference. And those things, here's what I remember. They were good, but no part of them really struck me as being a $2,000 headphone. They're super light. Like I remember putting it on my head and just whipping my head around really fast. I must look like an idiot. And the wire was the heaviest part. It might as well just been a wire attached to my chin because they weighed nothing.
Yeah, there's no momentum. If you whip your head around, they're probably not going to fly off because there's no momentum to them.
You could wear them on like a roller coaster, and if the wind doesn't blow them off, they'll just stay on your head forever. And they weren't hard clamping either. They were just the thinnest possible, lightest materials. You could see
You're
there's
just wearing
nothing
a
on the
gentle
back.
scarf on your head, and that's it. Only a scarf would probably be heavier than these.
You know, it was ridiculous. That if they have nothing else, they have that. And I'd have to spend more time with them to really analyze. Yeah. Because you could see the magnet structure is pretty goddamn big for just like a headphone.
Oh, yeah. You'd have to care a lot about comfort. If you care about comfort, like that's up there.
It's right up there. And I would love to do some pad swapping on that, but the pads would probably be too heavy. Throw it all off.
It looks like everything we have left in here is all either portables or amps. And then there's like the 1990s and the Folk Out Utopia. That's everything else we have left.
Well, I mean, just let's go through it real quick because I know you want to edit for 3 hours if you want me to get this up today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I want to maintain that Wednesday schedule. A lot of these things I still haven't heard. I did hear this briefly, but I don't remember it very well. It's the McIntosh, whatever you want to call it, their headphone amplifier. Yes. Their DAC amp.
I talked to the guy about that, and it was pretty ridiculous, everything he was talking about. The remote control was ridiculous. I think they're 50 watts per channel in the back, 80 or 50 or...
Wow.
And yeah, no, it's a headphone amplifier and speak. It's basically a sort. He talked forever, and I listened forever because it's literally one of the things about that is, and you'll get off to this. You can actually program it because you see the profile knob on the right. Mm-hmm. You could program your headphones into it, which gain, what impedance. And it'll remember, and you can actually switch to use it on that.
Here's the thing. They make nice speaker amps.
Yeah.
So I would expect them to do the same with a headphone amp. I didn't know about that feature when I tried it, though. Because I was like, what the hell's profile? What's this?
And it was like, oh, this will do this, and this will do this. And the remote control was comfortable. And it's $4,000, $4,500, $4,800. It's more than my other car is worth by a lot.
You're getting a headphone amp and a DAC and a speaker amp and a
you're getting I think it's like 50 something pounds. You're getting all you should ever need.
That's your entire setup right there. That's your DAC, your amp, and your speaker amp and some sort of a computer.
And VU meters that are and it's a McIntosh, and you get to say it's a McIntosh. Now, the guy I know in back in my hometown, he bought McIntosh Pre's and Pros for his big $100,000 room, which he set up in the 90s, or his father set up in the 90s. And they're good, but they're very strange. The remote controls on those are literally Chinese specials. Yeah. They got like $7,000 equipment and got 2 remotes, and they're both China specials.
Makes up because they have to put those nice VUs in them, though.
They do have beautiful VUs. But I mean, it also had like turn knob equalization, five knobs. Wow. 5 EQ. Like, what is this? And he would go and he'd twist them and turn. I'm like, why are you doing that? I'm fixing it. Stop. You're not fixing anything. You can't fix with this. And it just, so I understand McIntosh. I understand who's using McIntosh. And I think that would be an end game headphone amplifier for just about everybody. Unless you're one of those people who needs a tube. All right. But yeah. And McIntosh also had a set of headphones, which you don't see to the right, which I listened to for about 30 seconds and was not impressed. And then I moved on.
I'm going to post 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to post a group of pictures here and see if there's anything in there you want to talk about.
Shoot.
There you go.
Well, I got to wait till they're all uploaded.
There'll be a few more groups.
Okay. Starting from the first one, which is that vertical tube amp with the window. Mm-hmm. How much did that cost, DMS?
I'm looking at it. Like probably $3,000 or something crazy like that.
It's $1,000. $999.
Oh wow! Okay, so that's very pretty.
That's
for $1,000
real wood on the side, It's a 5-tube amp. This is that company, that's Cyan. Everything they had was cheaper than I expected. That DAC to the left of it with the knob and everything, that's $700. Now that seems like a lot because you know,
right? But let me tell you how ridiculous audio can get.
Yeah, the fact that like their entire stack, they had a solid state amp that was like $800. The DAC was $700. They had a unit with a screen on it that did full music playback. That was another $600, $700 or $800. That's cheap for what I was looking at, and they loved me. I'm like, you need to send me all this stuff. Now, do you have the crazy high end? Actually, I have a picture of it. I'll throw that at you right now.
Okay.
Because it was in here.
I should have all the same pictures you have.
You should, but you didn't drag it in. So here, this one, that amp is by the same company.
That was at the Meze room also, or the room with Meze.
Yeah, that's $4,000 for that thing. And that is like a 5/8 inch front panel of aluminum, tubes bigger than a house, a whole separate tube power amplifier.
I was about to say, the size of those tubes was just astronomical. They're like big. Yeah, they're bigger than light bulbs.
Oh, way bigger than light bulbs. And the thing was built well, and everything moved. It had VUs, and it sounded good. In fact, here's a better like front view for you.
Yeah, like that tube in the back, that giant one. That's like almost the size of like
you can't get your hand around. It was huge. Yeah, it was massive. And I looked at it and I was like, how much is this? $12,000. And although $4,000 seems like a lot, trust me, when you're talking about tube amps, that ain't that much. So now going back to the other things, the big fancy new Stax amp, the T8000, didn't listen to it. Not because I didn't want to, but because I just didn't. I didn't get a chance to sit down. I was in that room. I had to go.
Yeah,
but I don't remember what even they had hooked up to. We
talked about those
1540s. We talked about. Still look perfect. Just wish I didn't sound like I wanted to kill myself. Okay, the Beyerdynamic. That's a Beyerdynamic. You see that little pendant thing that literally replaces the headphone cables and gives you a USB connector, so that you can plug it into iPhone or USB-C that actually support everything.
So it's the Beyerdynamic version of a cipher cable.
Yes. You see that gray box underneath that?
Yeah.
That detaches. That's an actual battery pack. So if you take that off,
so it gets a lot smaller.
Much thinner. It gets smaller, and it'll power your phone. You put the battery pack on, it doesn't power it from your phone.
I like that.
Do you know how much that setup costs just for the wire with the controller thing and thing?
It's Beyer, so I'm going to say like $400 or $500.
$350. And I looked at him and went, what?
Because it's a lot better than I guess, though, but it's still a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. $350. And it just, I can't see it because it only works with your Beyerdynamic headphones.
But it
does not like that goes up. It's a German thing. It was a nice soft silicone. You get it next track. It actually had a stop. You had to actually let go and hit volume up again to make it go louder, which is annoying. The fact that it works on Android and Apple was unique, but so not worth that sort of money. Just not worth it. The next thing we've got a lineup of
all the
Beyerdynamics.
I missed all of them.
All the Beyerdynamics. I did the Omron Homes for a bit because I heard them at a HiFi meet and I thought they were sharp. They're blurry at the end. They're like the biggest, most expensive ones besides the 1990s.
Is it in any of these pictures that I just sent?
It is, but it's blurry. It's the far left of that. When there's like 7 headphones on the table, it's the far end. You can't hear them.
Okay, I'm going to send more pictures.
Doing that, bro. Is it in those? No, it is not.
Okay.
All right, just the point is, all right, big blurry. They weren't as bad as I remember. So, I mean, they were being powered by that unit. I asked, is this unit DSP correcting anything? And it's like, well, we're doing it. So I don't know if they're trying to fix what their headphones sound like with that, but it would be a smart move.
Oh, dizzy.
Those are the advanced. All right, we got 2 of the advanced. Do we have both of them in here? The ones on the ones in the stand with the just the gray ovals, black ovals, top group. Those bass heavy, bespoke drivers. Advanced is the place that they're on mass drop. You can get the advanced one. No one buys it. Is there a picture of it here? I know there's a picture of it here. At least I've got a picture of it. Hold on. There, these. I don't know if you had to listen to those.
I did not.
These are the ones that are on mass drop for $450. I bought a pair on mass drop for $450. No, not hearing them at all. The minimum buying is like 3. They need to sell 3 pairs to have the price break happen. And for 2 days, even with my endorsement in the goddamn comments, no, I don't think anyone bought the 3rd one. I have to go check. And it's because they released a measurement chart, a measurement graph of them. And they're all over the place. They're just it's a terrible measurement graph. But what the other word on the street is, other than they measure terribly, is these are HE500s reborn in a lighter package. And I can tell you right now,
that much.
You didn't? Nope. I love the HE500s. They were so violent. I miss violent playing. Ever since HiFiMAN went from the 400 and 500 to like the 400S, 400. I feel like we're lacking in the M1060s are the closest thing, and they're still pretty mundane as far as like aggressive sound. And from what I heard from these, I think if you're going to be able to push them to the points of like literally blood shooting out your nose, and that's what I want in a planar occasionally. Well, I want it to be.
Oh wow, it all sent in separate things. I sent one more group of photos. I know there's at least one thing in that group you want to talk about. That's the one more.
Let me finish up with the top real quick.
Okay.
Because the IFI xDSD, the little tiny one, really sharp corners on that. The little like weird looking bar soap black thing.
Yeah.
That thing has to get refined a little bit because I didn't play with it. It's cute, but the knob will cut your fingers off. The thing next to it, the Pro-Ject Box, the 2 wooden boxes with the little one on top.
Yeah.
I talked with that guy for about 25 minutes about his catalog of SKUs. That little box comes in like 40 iterations of things inside of it, from phono preamps to a battery pack. Literally, I have one of those. It's just a battery pack that powers the unit without being wall powered.
It's kind of insane.
Anything you want, just amps, just Stax. Their whole catalog is ridiculous. And the one below it, that comes in silver or black with 3 different types of wood, and then you can get multiple different units. So I'm literally, if I only reviewed Pro-Ject stuff for the next 6 months, I'd never run out of something to review. We've got IEMs and a stick, don't need that. We got the expensive Audio-Technica amp. The little Beyerdynamics didn't play with. Those I didn't play with. Oh, in the second group of pictures,
yeah,
you've got that carbon fiber wood backs, brown pads, sitting on like a wooden stand. I didn't know how much those cost. And those, when you looked in the driver, there was a AMT tweeter, like a 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch dead center, and then a driver behind it. So it's a 2-way coaxial, basically. And I listened to them, and I'm like, these sound pretty good. The highs are really defined.
Yeah.
And I say that in a way that's sort of like, your highs are gonna kill me. But, overall, good quality. Okay, how much? $6,000.
Jesus Christ.
No. I was like, and there was cheaper ones that looked exactly the same, only they used glass fiber instead of carbon fiber. And it was like, we're going to hold off on talking to you. Then we've got the one again with the wood sides for $1,000. Then this other wooden top tube amp. Mm-hmm. And that was a beautiful woman who was there from Slovenia or Slovakia. They're made there. They have, that amp costs like $2,000, which again, for how it looked and how it sounded, wrapped in leather, topped and bottom in real hardwood. It was like, you know what? Here's my card. Because if you have no presence here, I'll talk about your stuff. Try to get a date. Didn't get one. Don't know if she's married. My God. All right, moving on to the MyTech, the little the Brooklyn DAC.
Yeah.
Love that thing. Can't wait to play with it. It's so pretty and well handled.
It is definitely pretty.
I'm going to do a whole series on that. The RHAs, the little wraparound ear things, probably the best implementation I've seen of wraparound Bluetooth IEMs.
Yeah, because those are getting popular now.
It is, and that's a soft cable between the two, so it just sort of hangs there. You don't really feel it. The hard ones, I don't dig on that. And the next one you got, that was it Ibasso? It may have been Ibasso, because that is a portable tube amp, a single tube.
I saw some orange glowing in there and was wondering what that is.
It definitely, that's a tube amp. And it turned it on, a blue LED came on, and I got all depressed. But then the blue LED went off because the tube had warmed up. And that was just an indicator to say the tube hasn't warmed up yet. and they make a 2-tube and a single tube. The single tube's like $300, and the 2-tube's like $700.
Picture after that's another pair of those crazy, dumb, expensive two-way.
Yeah. That's a $6,000 pair. That's the one with the real carbon fiber, not glass fiber.
Jeez.
And I like their amplifier though. Look at that little amplifier. That thing was pretty sweet. I don't know if it's portable because you can charge it, but it was a very odd design for a portable. Like everything's on the front. Input, output, USB, and volume knob. Nothing on the back.
Is that an iFi Stax amp in the next picture?
That is the IDSD DAC on top, which I haven't seen. And the bottom two units I have a review of. The Eikon Pro, which is nuts with a 2 pre, and the IESL, which I just emailed them and said, hey, I want to buy this from you because it does so much better a job at moving my electrostatics with like anything. Literally anything. You want a speaker amp? Fine. Balanced headphone input? That's fine too. The other Eikon? That's fine too. It'll also push to a balanced headphone. You need to adjust the resistance that's shown to the speaker amp. Turn this knob on the right. You get voltage adjustment, pro audio. It is the full. What is the woo-wee is just plain Jane, and that thing is advanced.
That's pretty insane. I mean, iFi's been making some decent stuff. Yeah,
that stack was pretty crazy, and I would love to try out the DAC on top, which I guess they're calling just the IDSD. I didn't even get to play with it. I was watching them tear it down at the end. All right, Æon opens. I'm gonna get to play with both of those. I wanted the open and close. I was shook hands with MrSpeakers. I'm like, you're gonna send me both of these. Oh, there's the Omron Homes. Actually, those are the Omron Wireless, which I did not play with, but there's a wired version. But that's basically their closed back, which I thought was a little bit sharp. There is a brand new electrostatic portable.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was in the Woo room because basically Jack Woo has got he's made StaxUSA.com because he had to, because there's no point in him designing and selling electrostatic amplifiers and energizers.
So that's
you can't get a goddamn set of headphones. It's not. This is Stax. This is made in Japan, but he's their main importer now in the country.
Okay.
Because he can't sell a $4,000 tube electrostatic energizer if no one can buy any electrostatic headphones. So it's a smart business decision. Because what was it, Stax? Was it Stax USA that went bad, and he's now Stax Shop? Or
not sure.
I forget.
But that little amp, it's all right.
Oh, it's a little bit underpowered, but I mean, you're getting the best. It's also 4 hours of runtime, but you're running electrostatics out in the open. So good luck with that.
I mean, you're probably most people aren't going to take eStats to the grocery store.
Well, I'm not most people, so we'll see how that goes.
That's fair. Deconi Audio.
They actually modified their own set of Mark IIIs.
You know, they sent me every pad they own for 600s, but they mailed them like a month ago and they haven't gotten here. So I'm thinking someone just stole my mail.
Yeah, I got all the pads. I haven't actually put them on the 600s yet. I tried them on the 660s because those were like the new hotness when I got them.
I've never heard any aftermarket pad that sounds good on Sennheisers, so I'm really curious.
Correct, and I highly doubt. I tried them on the 660s, and I did not. I got difference, but not better. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if the 600s are going to be different and better. We'll find out. Now those Deconi Blues, I thought they sounded interesting. I don't think they're Mark III Argons.
I was going to say, the problem about T50 mods is if you're getting a T50 mod that isn't Argon, you got the wrong T50 mod.
Pretty much. Like the Mayflower mod, up until the Argons, is probably my favorite mod, was the T50 Mayflower mod. Now the Deconi Blues, which they said, we'll give you a set before you leave, but I never went back to get it, so now I'm sad. But I mean, they got Deconi pads on them already, so it's starting out pretty good. But I'll probably get those in there at some point. We got a picture of a little baby Stax setup with the what the hell's the name of the one in the middle? I forget.
It's a shit stack, and I don't know, but it's an EQ.
It is an EQ, and I want to play with it because it's cute. Followed by whatever that is, I have no idea. It's a player of some sort. Might be Ibasso.
And then the one more triples, the gaming headset version.
Well, actually, it's not the triples. It's a completely different driver design, and those, yes, they're USB powered. Yes, there's RGB lights on it. Yes, there's a microphone built in, but it's that little dot you see on the cup. The actual stick of light to the side is literally just to make your face glow when you talk. So I think One More understands the gaming community, and I'm okay with completely tricking them into buying good headphones. That's my deal. You can't convince them they need good headphones, so sell them shitty-looking gaming headphones, which actually those don't look shitty-looking at all, but sell them something that's actually good and just fool them into getting like really nice things.
On the subject of that, though, the triple drivers. They're triple driver headphones, not their
the ones that I'm wearing right this second. Like literally, like here you go, everybody on live stream. Boom. These things are. I'm more impressed by these than I was by 660s out of the box. And I fucking wait till the review of the 660s comes out. I fucking love them. You know they're on Mashed Up right now today for $200. These triple drivers.
660s are?
No, the triple drivers.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like, time to shit my pants. Yeah, those triple drivers were pretty dang good. I wasn't like insanely impressed by the sound, but for the size and how easy they are to power, how insanely isolating they are, and how when you put them on your head and turn the volume up to damn near maximum, I can't hear anything that you're listening to. For all of that, it makes it extremely impressive.
And I've listened to them more than you have as far as music goes. And once you start really like, how is it able to do this? Is because of the dual driver. It's dual driver. It's not triple. I refuse to give a passive radiator a third driver's spot. You don't get that.
There are 3 radiators. 2 of them are active. So.
What?
There's 3 radiators. 2 of them are active. One's passive.
There's three things are moving. One thing is just a passive, so I wouldn't count that. It's got the it's a ceramic piezo in front. It's got I think a 40 millimeter active, and then a bass reflex in the back, which would make you think that it's going to leak sound, because the back is literally a glass window that moves, and it doesn't do. It's astonishingly like sealing. You can't change the pads.
But who cares? Because it's a little portable and it sounds amazing.
Yeah, they fold. They're machine. They look fucking great. It'll be hard to change the wire. They're going to get an insane review because they sound very accurate and narrow, and then soundstage kicks in and you don't know what the hell's happening because you're hearing the piezo's. I'm
going to try and get a set of them eventually to review, but until then, I guess everyone will just have to look forward to your review. But that's
right. My reviews take 6.
That goes through literally everything that we have pictures of.
Correct.
So
770, 1990s, great. There was a set of these. You can't actually. I'll drag this in.
Yeah, you know, actually, 1990s. I have the 1990s here and the LCD 2Cs here, and I can't pick which one I like more for that price range. They're both just so good. In a perfect world, I would own DT 1990s and LCD 2Cs.
Yeah, perfect world. Now you see those ones I just posted. Those are Ibasso headphones.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they stuck out like, I wish it was a side picture. They looked crazy. I actually took a picture of my friend wearing them because they looked crazy. And they're dynamic, but they're like, they recessed the driver so far. And there's like, the guy said basically, they're a relaxed headphone. They're not going to get a lot of, and they indeed were like just wide as fuck. I don't know if I would recommend them like offhand, but definitely something to look out for if you just don't care about how you look wearing headphones. Because that was aluminum. That was severe.
They're heat sinks. They look like heat sinks on the side of your head.
They should be heat sinks. It's perfect. The inside of the Pro-Ject box. Here's the inside of the that's the inside of the Pro-Ject DAC amp thing. Look how neat and clean that is.
Jeez.
I can't wait to get all their stuff. I need to get all their stuff and play with it. It's a requirement by law.
It's going to fill your entire apartment.
One last thing to talk about. Mm-hmm. Did you go to the periodic audio IEM?
I heard the periodic audio IEMs at RMAF and was not impressed.
I mean, they did the whole spiel where they went up and from this to beryllium, and you definitely hear that they get better as you go up. But
here's the thing: I was like, they didn't. I don't think they were happy when I was at RMAF because they were like, they showed me their nicest one, and they were like, "How much do you think this costs?" And I was like, $50. And they were like, $500.
No, it's 300. I think it's 100, okay. 200,
It was a lot. Either way, I was like, I remember because I went to them right after. Yeah, I guess 500 was wrong. Either way, I went to them after Final Audio and after hearing the E2000s, which are like $45, and was like, okay, these are about as good as the final E2000s, so maybe they're in the $50 range. Nope, $300.
Yeah, the thing is, you cannot tell the periodic audio IEMs apart from looks alone unless you know the color on the back to the corresponding metal.
Yeah.
So like the cheap $100 ones sounded okay. Then the $200 ones definitely sound clearer, and the $300 ones are obviously the best of the group. If you do it in that order, you could tell.
But damn,
they don't change the build at all.
Those.
Well, anyway, you see that little thing I posted?
Yeah.
That's their portable amplifier. There's no on-off. You just plug it in and it's running. And it's designed to be plugged into a phone, and it puts a crazy high impedance on your phone so that it prevents your phone from clipping. And then it just amplifies. And that little thing, which is the size of a 9, it'll definitely fit in a Tic Tac case.
Mm-hmm.
That little thing, they want like $350 for.
Does it not even come in a case?
It will. They just had them out to show you how small it was and how it has it. It was really interesting. He went over every part of it. How like this is the power section, it's separated. This is the amplification. There's dual mono, and I didn't have a problem hooking up to my portable, so I didn't bother using that.
They're not making bad stuff. They're just making it's expensive for what it is.
It is expensive what it is. I mean, I would love to see one of those put into a Tic Tac case, because I mean, it's gonna run all day and give you. It was like a third of a watt that thing's putting out for like 10 hours.
My neighbor's outside and his dog is pooping in the grass and he's not picking up after him.
Just throw something at him. Just scream. This is how you end this podcast, is with dogs pooping.
Well, this guy's, he's so not nice to his dog. His dog's trying to take a crap and he's like pulling on its collar at the same time, so it ends up trying to poop while it's walking.
What a dick. I hate dicks.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole. Anyway.
All right, I think we're good, except did you actually, what brand is this? This is Jerry Harvey audio, a lot of the custom IEMs.
Yeah, I heard some JH stuff, and I prefer 64 stuff, I'm not gonna lie. Like side by side, if you're in the music industry, everybody on stage is either using JH or they're using 64, and side by side I've had a better experience with 64.
Well, that's all you can do. You just come down to that, because I mean, it's like, yeah, we have all these things, but we are really about custom IEMs. I don't know how to review custom IEMs unless I get my goddamn ears plugged for every single type that's out there.
You should do it. So, it's great. It's a great experience. It's not a great experience, but it's worth having a pair.
It probably is.
Anyway,
it is probably worth having a pair. Anyway,
we've been going for a while, so we'll wrap this one up. Make sure you guys tune in for the next episode. We're going to have the owners of Modhouse Audio and the owners of DMF Audio, Ryan and Zach, both on here, and we're going to talk to them about some very interesting things.
We're going to
talk posted next Wednesday, because we post these every Wednesday. Woohoo! We should at least. All right, and thank everyone for. If you want to check out the other previous episodes, they will be linked in the description, along with. Well, we don't have the headphone thing up. We're working on DMS and I have a thing we're doing. The website done. It's gonna be up soon, very soon. There's a website. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. Wink, wink, nod, nod. There's a website. So yes, thank you for joining. And I don't want to say like, favorite, and subscribe, so I won't. But screw that shit. But links to whatever I could find in the description. And good. All right. Catch you guys next time. And I'll be the last one. I'll talk last.